from the Hitch and Trip Show. My partner in crime, he's in Newland, North Carolina. He's handling some things there. He's not able to do the podcast. We like to do it in person. We don't really like to do that thing where you like Zoom people in. It like to be a situation where it's in person. So keep doing work up there, Trip. I'm proud of you. You're getting a lot of press. I hope that don't go to your head. You're getting a lot of press. Maybe you can run for a higher office or something like that and get some people behind you and get one of those representative seats up there in the mountains. But you're doing a good job, bro, and I'm proud of you. Anyway, I did my podcast yesterday, and it was Monday, but today's election day. And election day is like kind of surreal being here, given that all the things that's happened. This has been one of the craziest and most incredible elections of my lifetime. We had a replacement midway through, close to the election, 3-4 months left. We had a replacement. Biden went out, and then Kamala comes in. Just like yesterday, I was talking about how the geniuses that chose Kamala was really just thinking about the money that she could raise, because they knew they was going to get money from all over the place, and they weren't considering how good or how bad she was and how much energy it would just, stir up or ignite in the community. They were just thinking about the amount of money maybe that they could raise, basically because of the female vote and the females being able to, vote on particular cultural issues and rights taken away and things like that. So they got their pick. And, I may be wrong on this, but I think Trump wins the popular vote for the first time. Republicans win the popular vote for the first time in 20 years. And the reason why I think so is because today I'm going to talk about Democrat problems, And the first thing that I'm going to talk about is just the way you demonize the other side. Yes, it's a lot to say about the other side, and it's a lot to say about Donald Trump and narcissists and things like that. You can say all the personal attacks and do all the personal attacks that you want. You can say these things like he's a narcissist, you can say things like he's a racist if you want to, but that doesn't really hold much water anymore, because the word racism has been killed. Like, it's been killed in this election. Like, we cannot say any word close to racism anymore, because you've used it so much that it has no power. It has zero power now. It has no, we won't ever be able to use it again, because people are saying, oh, that's racism that you call her dumb. And that's if you can't be called dumb and you're running for president of the United States, you don't need to be running for the president of the United States. If you look on the internet, everything is said about everybody. And if you can't take it as a candidate, you don't need to be running. If you can't take the fact that he says that a woman is dumb without calling that person that says it a sexist or a racist, she don't need to be up there. So the people that put her there probably wanted to use it as a strategy so that you can use it to kind of dampen that type of response. You wanted to make sure that you quelled that response, because you knew automatically that she didn't have a lot of ideas. And she wasn't well versed in anything else but trying to go at Trump. You knew that, and you were going to pursue that line of, idea and ideology. You want to pursue the line of let's go after Trump and make it about a choice about Trump and how bad he is versus Kamala, how good she is and joyful. Those are the two things that you were trying to do, is make the choice of kind of two diametrically opposed people on the moral aspect of it, and as far as being able to have a particular type of energy. Trump has bad energy. Kamala has good energy. That's how you wanted to frame it. But as the campaign went on, you became more of a demonizer than Trump. Because you started calling him Nazi, you started calling him Hitler, started to compare his supporters to Nazi sympathizers or Nazis, period. So then you ended up becoming the one that had the negative energy. Right? So my thing is this with the Dems. Like I said in my past podcast, if you plan or you're up against a juggernaut and you can't handle them alone, you need all people. If it's a team sport, if you're on a team, you need all the people on the team to show up. You need everybody that's on the team to participate at a high level. You don't want to be alienating anybody. You don't want to put people on the margins. You want to be inclusive of the people, and you don't want to push people out. That's how you run a team. If there's some real things on your team that's cancerous, and you know that little particular part in your own or on your team is kind of causing a big problem with your team, you have to just push it out. You have to push that part out. Right? If you're trying to build a cohesive unit and you're trying to make sure that you win as a collective, you have to make choices and you have to put a flag in the ground and say no to certain things. So what didn't you say no to that you alienated people with? You didn't say no to things like, in fact, you applauded it and lauded it as a thing that people should actually do and actually be like sympathetic of. One of them was transitioning kids at a young age. Like, you were big on the Dwayne Wade situation. You were big on that. You pushed it in the media and pushed it in everybody's face and said, this is what you're supposed to do as parents. You're supposed to be so supportive of this situation and help this 11-year-old, however old he was, 10 years old, help him transition into a her. Now, I'm going to cause a lot of stir with what I just said, but think about it. How many black men do you think were saying to themselves, what? Like, this is the type of father I'm supposed to be? I don't supposed to say, little Dwayne, you know what? Let's wait a little while, okay? You're a little young. You're a little too young to understand what sexuality is, and I'm empathetic with what you're trying to say and what you're trying to do, but what we're going to do is we're going to wait for you to become of age, and then you can make that decision on your own. Now, what I just said is probably what would have been said all of my lifetime until the last 4 years, 4 or 5 years. This is what, that wouldn't have been a controversial statement. But what I just said will be controversial. So, that's one thing, okay? And if you don't think that people are trying to do this and give kids like hormone blockers and things like that, and hormonal shots and things like that. If you don't think that this is actually real, well, I didn't think it was real either. Okay, until I started doing Uber. When I started doing Uber, this was all of my anecdotal evidence came. And this is what made me switch and go to the other side, being kind of, I was already culturally conservative, but I was kind of leaning toward Republican. But some Republicans I just can't vote for, like Mark Robinson. Like, he putting on for white folks for real. You think I'm putting on for white folks, but I ain't putting on for white folks. What I'm doing is I'm using common sense. This is like a common sense campaign that I'm putting on right now. This is nothing to do with like putting on for white folks, like y'all think Candace Owens is doing. In fact, Candace Owens is probably 10 times more black than half of the people coming at me, because she actually really care about the black community. She does. She really does care. And some of you that's talking, you're so liberal that you just can't see straight. You can't even think straight. You're so liberal that you just do anything, and you're going to fly and blow in the wind with that rainbow flag, instead of saying, no, that does not make sense. No, I'm not going to call you a girl. I see a boy. I'm not going to call you a girl until you do transition, until you're older, and then you have the surgery if you want to do it. That's when I'll call you a girl. Maybe. But I named you Susie. I don't want you to be Tom tomorrow. Right? Or I named you Malachi. I don't want you to be Malika tomorrow. Okay? So these are the things that black men are thinking. I'm just the one that's going to tell you. I'm just the one that's going to tell you. And it's nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing. There's nothing wrong with being gay. There's nothing wrong with being transgender. But what you cannot do is try to force it on people. Force the ideology on people. Try to play alternate reality games with people so that they play your game the way you want them to play it, instead of letting them decide whether or not that's what they're going to do. Like, there's some things that I believe and some things that I have in my mind that I'm not going to push on you, because I know that it might be out there. You know, it may be something that's out there that you may not want to hear. Okay? You can say it, or you can put it out there, or say it to the world. But if no one agrees with it, then no one agrees with it. There's nothing that you should say after that. What you should say is, I respect it. But you so pansy, and you so soft, and you so gullible, and you so liberal that you can't even see straight. You can't even think straight. You want everybody to be like you. And one of my friends said this, and I totally agree with it. He said, you know, I kind of understand what they're saying. What they're saying is, we're all the same. We're all the same people. They're not saying it in the right way. They're just saying that we're all the same. And what we need to do is treat everyone the same. And I totally agree with that. You treat everyone the same. But the same being that you aren't trying to force them into a position or force them to say something that they don't really believe, and censoring them because they're saying these things. Now, hopefully this makes it up on YouTube, because, you know, YouTube is like going at people that's speaking their mind too. you know. And you don't really realize it because you're so far into your camp that people are being censored for saying things that they believe. Versus when you get to say what you believe, you don't get any type of notifications or any type of labels or banned or deplatformed or demonetized. You get to say it. It sounds stupid, but you get to say it. And you saying it, I have no problem with. I have zero problem with it. But when we say something like this trans situation or the kids transitioning, trying to transition kids or teaching kids and having these books in the library that says, Susie has two fathers and John has two mothers, and you know that whole thing right there. And there's a reading from I think John Kennedy of a book that I'm going to put up right now.
All boys aren't blue. And I will quote from it. I put some lube on and got him on his knees, and I began to slide into him from behind. I pulled out of him and kissed him while he masturbated. He asked me to turn over while he slipped a condom on himself. This was my ass.
Now, do you really think that you should be having your kids read that stuff? And this is what they're talking about when they're talking about banning books from the library. Because these are in elementary school libraries or middle school libraries. Now, I don't see anything wrong with saying that this is inappropriate for elementary school and middle school students. Like that shouldn't be controversial. I'm not understanding it. Like if something happened, we went in for COVID and came back out, and there was so many just crazy theories just all over the place. Like we went in for COVID and our minds got sick. We didn't get as sick as we could from COVID, but our minds got sick to the point where we just like it's deadly right now. And the reason why it's deadly is because of this simple fact. Like when I was doing Uber, I was picking up a lot of teachers. And I have it's like 6 teachers in our organization at one time. And we used to talk to the teachers, and I talked to one in particular and the people around her. And the thing about it is the kids are just so confused by it. It's causing so many mental health issues with our children. Let the kids be kids. Let the kids be kids. Stop trying to force your thinking upon the kids as far as sexuality and gender is concerned. Kill it. This is one of the reasons why you're going to lose this election. It's because of this issue, one of these issues. But people don't say it. People don't say it. And then the number one thing is inflation. Stuff costs too much. You walk out the door, 15 minutes later, you got to spend money. And when you're spending the money, it's a lot. And it's just for just simple things. Food. The food is astronomical. So these are the reasons why you're going to lose the election. Now, if Democrats, if you really wanted to get rid of Hitler, and you didn't want Nazis around, if you really wanted to get rid of them, you would have picked someone like Josh Shapiro. Because that dude has incredible energy. Have you ever heard him speak? Have you ever heard the guy speak? Have you seen his personality? Anybody, anywhere would have said either he goes on a VP ticket, because that's Pennsylvania. We got to get Pennsylvania. You know we're going to have to get Pennsylvania to win this thing. Because there's a lot of people kind of exiting the Democratic Party, and a lot of them are black men. But if we get Pennsylvania, we probably win still, even without the black men. Whoever the strategist was, I just don't understand what you're doing. I think you just want to lose. I really do. So I think that if you put Josh Shapiro up there and you put a Wes Moore as his VP so he wouldn't be fearful or have anything like anybody looking over his shoulder, like if you put Gavin Newsom there at the VP position, he wouldn't have taken it, or you put Gavin Newsom as the presidential candidate, you put Josh Shapiro or Wes Moore under that ticket, it wouldn't even been close. I don't even think it would have been close. Because people were ready to turn the page, just like you said. People were ready to turn the page until he got shot. Until he got shot. People were ready to turn the page because people, even some of I have some white friends, they support him, and they weren't really so big on him either. They like him, they support him, but they were kind of falling off too. The energy wasn't really there. But then things happened where this man just galvanized the support again. It's unbelievable. It's just unreal how much you underestimate this guy. This man is the most unreal politician that has ever walked the planet. And you decide to put up Kamala Harris. Like, really? You decide to put up the person who didn't get any votes at all when she ran for president. Any, none whatsoever. You decide to put up that. Okay. I'm just dumbfounded, you know. But all of these things that I'm talking about is some of the things that you're going to have to address in the audit. You're going to have to address it. You're going to have to address the bringing of the people to, you know, the pride people exposing themselves on our White House lawn, sitting in the Oval Office, the whole nine. Like, some of these things are just not going to fly with men in general, but especially black men who are culturally conservative, and a lot of them, although there's a lot of gay people in their families and things like that, are really homophobic. So you have a lot of homophobia in the population of black males. So you knew just going this route, you were going to lose people. And I think that that's why you want to bring the immigrants in, because you know you're about to lose a lot of black people. So this is why these immigrants, you're going to lose a lot. So you're going to try to bring these people in, and you're going to hope that they vote for you. But if you're bringing in Muslim and you're bringing in Africans are very culturally conservative. I don't know if you know. Mexicans too. Like, Mexicans, Hispanics are really culturally conservative people. A lot of them are very religious. So you really have to win off of ideas. You can't win off of the culture war. If you think you can win off the culture war, you're going to lose a lot. Because the culture war is just going to just backfire on you in a big way. Right? And you see in this election, it shouldn't have been close. Like, Trump should have been out of there. You should have got rid of him long ago with the abortion issue. But you should have never said anything about abortion. Why? They'll say it. Women will say it. Women will say it. You don't even have to say anything about abortion. Women will come to your aid and tell you and put up billboards and signs because they lost this right. Right? It goes back to the states. So going back to states' rights, in particular instances in slavery and stuff, it didn't go right for us. But in this case, this is not slavery. Right? So you can move out of the state and things like that. We couldn't move right away. We had to escape. It's a big difference, right? People disagree with what I'm saying, but it's the facts. These are the facts, right? And people would think I'm homophobic and sexist, and I'm not. I'm not homophobic. I'm not sexist. I'm not transphobic or whatever the other words that you have. I don't have toxic masculinity or whatever other words that you make up, right? Or phrases that you make up. It's not made up. This was actually something that they use for serial killers. Serial killers, they use that phrase for serial killers. Like, it's a real term used for serial killers, right? Toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity is like a serious condition used by psychiatrists and therapists that describe someone who is probably a killer. Okay, so anyway, I just kind of diverged and went off path, but come back to center left. Say no to the stupidity. Just say no to the stupidity. Just say no. Okay? Just say no to the stupidity. That'll be enough where you can start to ask black males to come back. It's going to be very difficult. You have not kept your word, and you have not been the party of the working class. Somehow, during this whole Trump run of his 3 terms, you have just switched into this corporate captured entity that I can't identify. You're not the same. You're not for the little guy anymore. It's about the elite and the people that make 150,000 and above. And then you're going to rely on all these celebrities to come to your rescue to gain votes. You go after the celebrities, you go after the celebs to influence people because you don't have any ideas. Now, getting the ideas is the most important thing that you can possibly do from here on out. If you don't do it, you don't do it. I don't care. I don't think that for African Americans, anyway, I don't think the system is for African Americans. All we can do is just pick the person who we think may be a good person, and then that fell off. Right? So that's me. That's where I am. I'm going to say a couple of more things, and I'm going to end this podcast. If Kamala wins, I'd be super surprised because it's election day, and it's about close to 6:00. I have no idea what's going to happen tonight, but my inclination is that Kamala loses big. I think the election could probably be over in the morning because Arizona, I think it's Arizona or Nevada that counts their votes something like after the last person voted, something dumb like that. I don't know why people don't get their election situations in order. I mean, didn't they see what happened over the past 3 years, two election cycles? I don't know. Get it together. Just don't make any sense. Like, why can't you start counting the votes as soon as people start coming in? Start tallying the votes. It just doesn't make any sense. Why is it that these people wait and wait and wait and wait? It's dumb. You're just trying to show yourself off. You're trying to get a lot of press for your town. which is understandable. Sometimes you know you need some tourism or whatever, but not in this situation. You gotta say we gotta change the law, like right now. Get these ballots counted right now. Right now. We're not waiting. All right, we're not waiting till the last person walked through the door or the last person vote. That's stupid. That's how this thing's got to go, and I hope this is how Trump, if he wins, he governs. I hope he kills all the stupidity. I hope the stupidity, and not kill as in like lock up and put in internment camps like Nazis. I mean, like ideologically. So I hope all of it just dies. I hope all of this craziness and the stupidity just dies. I hope that the terrorists work for him. I do. I hope that some of these jobs come back to America where we can make, the American men can work good jobs and make $35, $40 an hour like they did in the 80s. Like people made this type of money in the 80s. Philip Morris and, some of these tobacco companies and things like that. I wish really the tobacco companies could come back to the States. It hit North Carolina hard. Not only that, but the furniture situation. We the number one furniture producer in the world. All that stuff went to China. So the tariffs could really help. And I said I won't vote for Trump because of the tariffs, but when he did that interview on I guess it was Bloomberg, and he was like running circles around that interviewer and he was explaining the tariffs, he almost had me convinced that bringing those jobs back, he could bring the jobs back. I know he could have did it if he would have been there for 8 years, right? But like I said, I didn't vote for him because he said one thing. One thing made me not vote for Donald Trump. And he said this: if you vote for me, you won't have to vote anymore. Once you say that, oh no, I can't vote for you, bro. Like, I don't want to be the one responsible for putting you in charge because you said something crazy like that. Even if it slipped, I can't do it, But I voted for Michelle Lisa Thomas, and I said that I would do it, and on all my kids, that's who I voted for. So you can't say I didn't vote for Kamala because I'm sexist. You can't say I didn't vote for Kamala because I didn't believe she was black. Well, I don't believe she was black. I mean, because of her biracial ethnicity. Because Michelle Lisa Thomas is mixed. So what I'm saying is, you made a lot of mistakes. Democratic Party, you made a lot of mistakes. And being able to sit down, do an audit, talk just like I'm talking. Stop playing footsie in the conversations. Tell the truth. Have some hard conversations, some tough talk. You have to have tough talk, hard conversations, and talk it through. Bring some black men in. You might not like me anymore, so you might not bring me in, but I tell you what, I will help for a fee. But what I'm saying to you is you lost this election starting 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. You started off crazy with this whole cultural mess. You started crazy. And it lingered in the back of a lot of people's mind. And then the inflation kicked the whole situation in the overdrive on the bad side. And it just materialized into what it is today. Okay. So, again, what do? You start again. More inclusivity, okay, of the black male. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it anymore. But I see that you're going to get like letting all of these immigrants in because you see that you're going to lose black males. So you're going to try to replace this with another demographic, and that's fine. You know, you'll see. Hopefully, black males and black females decide that we should be independent and will the power from the middle and stop using emotion for the voting process. The last thing, and there's some construction across the street, if you hear that. The last thing that you want to use in this situation is emotion. You don't want to be emotional. You want to say to the person that you're backing, what is it that our community is going to get from you? If we put you in office, if there's something that we can do to actually help propel you to the presidency, what do we get in return? And if we don't come at it from that perspective, and we don't say to these people, this is the only reason why we're going to vote for you. If we don't say that, and then if they get in, the next time we go opposite completely, and we put in a whole different party. We try to put in a whole different party because they didn't hold to their word. And we go back and forth because going back and forth is more important than being loyal to people who's not going to do anything for you. And that's been my whole position since they chose Kamala. Because what I knew is that they only chose her to raise the most money that they can possibly raise because she was an incredibly bad candidate, and they knew it. Okay, so that's the end of Hitch and Trip. The Hitch and Trip show will get back up and running. I think Donald Trump will be in office. I think so. And I'm not going to agree with a lot of things he do or he does. I mean, he's got Elon Musk coming up, and I know he's going to try to make the government more efficient. And in the first year, it's going to be really hectic. It's going to be a hectic first year. You know, it's going to be a lot of changes made. Then things may come back to some type of normality. There might be some normalcy after that, you know. So hopefully we are here, like the earth is here in 2028. Hopefully the earth is here. If the earth is here, we can wield our power from the center. Hitch and Trip Show, Jimmy Hitchcock. Peace.